Monday, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Mallett live stream. Today we're talking about post frame versus red iron. I did a topic on this a few weeks ago, but Mr. Darrell, our in-house engineer, is here to do a more in-depth, more educated dive in on that. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for that. But as always, let's get started with the normal show. As always, $500 off if you are a healthcare worker, first responder, military personnel, or teacher and or educator. This is just our way of saying thank you for what you do for our community and everyone in it. So when you're ready to purchase your Mallett building, you can get $500 off. How's that sound? Now, Tiger Cash, if you comment cash on a video just like this, you can also get $1,000 off your next Mallett building. This does not apply to specials or promotional pricings. However, if you are a healthcare worker, educator, first responder, or military personnel, and you comment cash, that is $1,500 off. So keep that in mind whenever you're shopping around for your next accessory building. But this is good for the elite or the signature building, and you just gotta comment cash, and that will put you in to get $1,000. It's not a raffle, not a drawing, just anyone who comments cash gets $1,000. So another way of saying thank you for being part of our content. Now, where's Mallett this week? We currently, as of this morning, had 66 jobs going on this week, holiday week and everything. Schedules are moved around a little, but still a lot going on all throughout the east side of Texas. Louisiana, we've pretty much covered except for this northern side. So whoever is on the northeast Louisiana side, if you want a Mallett building, let us know. We'd love to put you on the map. And making our way even into Mississippi for one additional building. Now, in Louisiana, 46 of those jobs are here in Louisiana, everywhere from plumbing in Church Point to concrete in Dyson to finishers in Keithville. Buildings that are going to be delivered this week in New Iberia, Scott, New Orleans, control joints in Ragley. Folsom has a building on the ground ready to be put up. We also have Franklinton in construction, inspections in Oberlin. LaRanger has gutters and Schriever has forms, as well as all these other cities, guys. We are all over doing all sorts of things here at Mallett in all the different stages. Super exciting stuff. Texas, we have 19 jobs currently from Beaumont, Port Neches, Caldwell, Vidor, Dayton, Van Vleck, North Zolt, Shepherd, and China, different China, the Texas China. But we are all over the place doing all sorts of things here in Texas as well. Now, November specials and promotions, these are some exciting ones. We have a 30 by 30 by 12 with a 30 by 20 gable for $33,999. And we have these cool little tick marks that show off all the information. We have 26 gauge metal, 2 by 12 headers, 2 by 8 scissor trusses. Those trusses are rated for 170 mile-an-hour wind rating. We have #1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber throughout the whole building, not just the posts. And speaking of posts, there's concrete under all of those posts, and that concrete is going to be 4,000 PSI. It's cool how it all ties together, huh? But put that all together and you have a 30 by 30 by 12 classic Mallett building for $33,999, but it doesn't stop there. You get a 30 by 20 gable extension as well, so you can extend the ridge line of that building, make some additional space. This would be good for parking, hanging out, getting out of the weather. Anything you can think of to do under 20 foot of space, you can do it here under this gable extension. It's going to be awesome. But this is the Mallett Classic Special that's going on through November only. So this is about the last week and a little bit of next week. And that's all you get left for this $33,999 special. So if you were considering a building, this might be the time to call. Give us a call at 337-214-0428 and talk to our building specialist about that. But that's not the only special we have. We have two more in this classic lineup. Same specs. Same 26 gauge metal, 2 by 12 headers, 2 by 8 scissor trusses, all the fun tick marks. But this is a 30 by 50 by 12 with a 30 by 24 gable extension. A little bit bigger building, a little bit more space under the gable. But that's going to be for $44,999, and it's also going to come with the #1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber, the concrete under every post, the 4,000 PSI concrete, the 170 mile-an-hour wind rated trusses, all the great things that make a Mallett building a Mallett building. So again, this is only November, so don't miss out. Don't wait too long because December, we're changing it. We're doing a subdivision special for this one for December, so if that piques your interest, maybe wait for that one. But don't wait for this one because it ends in November. So the last one on our classic special, same specs, bigger building, bigger gable. 40 by 60 by 12 with a 40 by 30 gable extension. Very large gable, You could fit some vehicles under there. You could park. You could put your accessories. You could have the hangout. You could do the crawfish boil. Anything and everything you can think of that could fit under 40 by 30, you can do in this building, plus the inside, which is 40 by 60. So all of that is $69,999. Be sure you call in November. Get on the books before December because it won't be that price anymore. But then Tiger Cash applies to it. So keep that in mind moving forward. Now, the Rival Series. Mallett built, not a Mallett building. What does that mean? We'll talk about that here soon, but let's go through this real quick. This is the building our competitors try to sell. And we were tired of hearing all the different things from people, so we decided we'll just make that building too. So we are going to give the best builders in the country a budget-friendly building to build, and that's where we got the Rival Series from. So it does not have all the bells and whistles of a Mallett building. You're not going to get the cable lock system. You're not going to get the 2x12 headers, the things like that, but it is a budget building that is still built by the best builders in the country, so you can guarantee the quality will be there nonetheless. But this one starts at $18,999. You're going to get a 30 by 30 by 12 plain Jane building, but it's still a good building because it's built by Mallett. Not a Mallett building though. Again, we'll explain that later. Moving on, 30 by 50 by 12 for $27,999. Same specs, same disclosures, all that good stuff. Best builders in the country, budget building. So keep that in mind. Now, moving along in the Rival Series with a 40 by 60 by 12 for $39,999. Guys, where can you find a 40 by 60 by 12 for $39,999 except here at Mallett? That's a wonderful deal, you guys. So keep that in mind when you are looking at your building. If budget is ultimately your final deciding factor, consider the Rival Series here at Mallett. We'd love to talk to you more about that. So, Mallett Buildings Ambassador Club, I told you guys Friday, we figured it out. We have the new plan that will be rolling out here very soon. So if you are currently an ambassador, keep a lookout on your text and or email, and you will have all of the information coming your way very soon. If you are not an ambassador, please be sure to get with us on what it takes to do that and what that process looks like. It's super simple, and it leads to you putting more money in your pocket for doing things you were already going to do anyway. So if that sounds good to you, be sure to comment ambassador on this video, and we will send you all the information we have as soon as that goes out. So the 5 red flags, as always, preface, we don't do this to throw shade at people or to be rude or all that stuff. It is simply to help customers be well educated before they begin their building process, whether that is or is not with us here at Mallett. We want you to make an informed decision and feel like you know what's going on going in to your build. And to do that, we have the 5 red flags. Let's go over those now. Years in business. Check how long the business has been around. You can do that on the Secretary of State website. Nothing wrong with being somebody's first client, but it means they haven't worked out all the kinks yet. They haven't got all the issues out the way. They haven't learned a whole lot in their business yet. They may know what they're doing, but they haven't built the amount of buildings that Mallett has. In our 27 years, we have built over 25,000 buildings, and we're very proud of that. So keep these things in mind when you are considering your next building. Now, something else to consider is their licensure. Ensure the company you're considering doing business with is actually a licensed business. You can do this at the LSLBC or the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors if you want to use the official name. Licensure is huge, you guys. You don't want to be caught using an unlicensed individual. Not that that comes back on you in a legal way, but quality, professionalism, and we've seen far too many times these people who aren't licensed, they're just these fly-by-night companies, use that term very loosely, that steal people's money and run away. That's not how we do things here. We believe in doing things by the books every single time, but something to check for is this person actually licensed that you're doing business with? You want to do business with a business. So keep that in mind. You can check that on the LSLBC as well. Now, contractor violations, also on the LSLBC, falls in the same bucket. If they'll break the law once, they'll break the law again. You don't want that to be with you. Same thing, we've seen people take money, run off far too many times in the headlines, way too much. But we're proud to say in our 27 years and over 25,000 buildings on the ground that we have 0 contractor violations, you can check that at the LSLBC and confirm. We are very proud about that, and we plan to continue that moving forward here at Mallett. Now, reviews of the BBB and Google. We can sit here and say nice things about ourselves all we want, or we could say whatever we want about anybody, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the public's opinion and what our customers have to say means more than we could ever talk about ourselves. And with that, we mean we have over 600 reviews between the BBB and Google, and we are very proud of that. Excuse me. We also have an A+ rating on the BBB because we're in good standing as a business, and our 600 reviews with a 4.8 review rating will show you we're in good standing with the public as well. So we just want to make sure you do your due diligence and check out the reviews. If you're going to do reviews on Amazon this Friday for your Black Friday, I assume you're going to want to look at what people have to say about your builder as well. So something to keep in mind when you're deciding who that's going to be. And finally, visit the contractor's facility. Guys, we have a phenomenal and large facility here. We have places we store all the lumber. We have places we store all the equipment. We have places where we have the whole plant here for the truss plant. And I know Mr. Tim Tackett here is eagerly waiting for photos of the roll form plant, but that is coming soon. Can't spoil that surprise just yet, Mr. Tim. But we have a roll form plant where we're going to be doing our own metal work here as well. So that 26 gauge metal we talked about is going to be taken care of in-house, so we can control the quality and consistency on that, as well as the trusses, and ultimately bringing that price a little bit lower as well, because we control more of the process, and we're happy to do that, and can't wait to show you guys what we have extending here in our facility. But come check it out yourself. We give great tours, there's always good popcorn and great service. Can't wait to see you guys here. Please stop by on your convenience. We're right off the interstate, so pull on over, come have some fun, check it out, and see where your next building is going to be built. Now, the Why Mallett, this is the Rivals series compared to the Classic as we talked about earlier. Here's a more in-depth chart. So we talked about the Mallett building having a 26 gauge metal. There's a 5-on-12 roof pitch, 2x8 scissor trusses that are third party inspected. Those trusses are also rated for 170 miles an hour. Mallett cable lock system, this is our uplift control. It's the 1/8 inch aircraft cable that goes post to post, this way, this way, this way, connecting all the posts together. Then we have a moisture barrier that goes on top of that, and then we're going to pour the concrete slab on top of that. So all this combines together to make a uplift control called the Mallett cable lock system. So say you have an issue with a window or a door during a heavy storm, maybe something flies into it and knocks it out, all that stuff. Wind's going to rush into your building and want to push it up like a parachute. This is called uplift. And that's on a normal situation. A lot of times these buildings are just going to fly away and never come back. And you're going to have to buy a whole new building and all new stuff inside of it, and you're going to have to go, oh no, my building's gone. But with Mallett buildings, that doesn't happen because we have this cable lock system we're talking about that holds everything down, and the wind's going to have to not only take the weight of the building, but also the weight of the slab, as well as everything holding it together. So ingenious design here, great thing happening there. Love the Mallett cable lock system. But we discussed all this other stuff the Classic has. But let's talk about what the Rival has, and you can see the difference here as well. 29 gauge metal, which is not as sturdy or thick as 26, 4-on-12, so you have less of a pitch for things to debris and water to run off. 2x6 trusses, you're going to have common flat trusses, 130 mile an hour wind rating as well, no uplift control. So the uplift control in itself to me is worth the difference right there, but that's my personal opinion as someone who has lost a shop in a hurricane. Posts are going to go in the dirt or gravel, 2x8 headers, 3,000 PSI concrete, no skirt boards for ground protection, limited warranty, and number 2, untreated generic lumber. But that's how the price is so affordable. Now, you go to a Mallett Classic, which is not much more than the Rival series, and you're going to have everything we talked about, plus the skirt boards, 4-year workmanship warranty, number 1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber, an in-house engineer who we're going to speak with soon. But you get all these things on a Mallett building. And this is our entry-level building. This is what most people are building as their best building. It's a shame. This is what Mallett entry-level is. But because we're Mallett buildings, we want to be here for our customers, we will also offer this in our Rival series. But just know you'll be missing out on the Mallett Classic features. And when you get to the Elite, you get even more features. So here's our own building compared to our own building. The Mallett Classic has everything we just talked about, and some key features to look at for the Elite that's an upgrade. You're going to have 3-foot spacing on your trusses instead of 5-foot spacing, so you fit a lot more trusses in that building, giving it a lot more stout, sturdy roof. You're also going to have 9-foot on center as opposed to 10-foot for your post spacing. Same concept. 6-inch 4,000 PSI microfiber reinforced slabs with control joints instead of just 4,000 or 4-inch slab with concrete under each post. Still great, but this is a lot better. You're going to have post protectors added, full roof and wall insulation included, continuous ridge vent system, seamless gutter and gutter guards, added wainscot, 145 mile-an-hour wind rating due to the post and truss spacing. You're going to have a 10-year workmanship warranty as well, and this is just the overview. So consider that when you're looking at your buildings as well, because although it's good to save a few dollars, again, as someone who has lost a building in a storm, it's a lot more expensive to build a second building. So keep that in mind. But that's going to do it for me today. Next, we're going to have our in-house engineer, Mr. Darrell. He's probably going to come with a new joke, so make sure you laugh, comment, ha-ha. And then we will learn a little bit about post frame and red iron. He's shaking his head over there, so I think I ruined it for him. But Mr. Darrell is going to come and explain his red iron versus post frame.
Hey, I'm Darrell, the engineer here at Mallett, and I don't have a joke today. I'm sorry, and I don't even have anything to say about LSU football this week, besides how bad they looked, even though they won. But I am enjoying. I guess on a positive note, I am enjoying. College basketball has started, and I enjoy watching college basketball. I particularly enjoy watching these coaches that have been at these schools for a long, long time and how they continue to produce winners, like Michigan State. The coach has been there forever, Tom Izzo, and the coach at Purdue has been there for a long time. And I like to watch sports. I think one reason I like sports so much is because of the teamwork. You know, everybody has a role to play, and it's the same way here at Mallett, same way at any successful business where everybody has a part to play. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about post frame versus red iron, and I know Tyler spoke about this not too long ago. I know Trent has spoken about it, and also Mr. Lee talks about it. But I'm going to put my 2 cents in. If you notice, I'm hoarse. I'm hoarse a lot, I guess, because I'm old. But so I'm singing in a Christmas program at church, and so we practiced last night. And what's really fun about it this year is I'm singing with my wife and one of my sons and my daughter and 2 of my grandkids. We're all in the program together, and so that's really fun. So that's my excuse for being hoarse. So this is a typical foundation for a typical red iron building. And now this is the elevations for for that particular building. And what you'll notice, so this is the side view of that building. And what you can see very clearly is that it's ugly, because it's a 1-on-12 pitch. I mean, you have to look very carefully to even notice that the front is 2 feet taller than the back, so that the water will run down it. And the big consideration, one of the big considerations with a metal building is the pitch of the roof. Because, you know, it's all about, like I talked about last week, about counting the cost. Because there are hidden costs in a metal building project. The prices that we give you, whenever we give you these specials, or when you talk to the specialist, it's a turnkey job. And so you're going to have a building with a concrete slab for this price. And so the first component where they charge extra for is if you want to change the pitch of your building. It's like, so you see this is ugly, and if I click over here to a Mallett building, you see this building, or you see this building, or you see this building. And these are buildings that are nice looking, that would fit with your home, would fit in your neighborhood, and would look nice. Whereas if you put that in your neighborhood, there's some neighborhoods you can't even put them. They have ordinances against flat metal buildings. There are towns that have ordinances that have been passed to, so you have to dress up the metal building. Now, so like this is a metal building. You see, this is the same flat, ugly building, but you see this line right here? That's the slope of that building. And so it's hidden behind this brick facade. But the kicker is the brick facade is extra. And so so that's the second extra is facades. And then when you start talking about the concrete slab, you know, in the engineering world, there are things such as engineering standards. And it's kind of like we do it like that just because we do it like that. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't have engineering science behind it, because it does. Sometimes it might even be more stringent than it needs to be. You know how engineers are. So the way we design a foundation for a metal building is we have the whole thing is covered with a 4 or 5 inch slab, and then we have an exterior grade beam around it that is at least 16 inches and 24 inches deep. And then by every one of the columns, we have a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot chunk of concrete. And the anchor bolts go down into those chunks of concrete, and that's what holds the building down. And it works. But the cost of the concrete is not included in the cost of the metal building. And the cost of concrete has gone up tremendously. I think now it's $115 a cubic yard, maybe more. The labor has gone up, up, up. And so that's the next hidden cost in a metal building project. So the first one was to change the pitch. You know, if you say, hey, I don't want a flat pitch, I want a pitch like that. Well, you can't even hardly get a metal building at a 5 on 12. You might be able to get a metal building at a 3 on 12 or 4 on 12, maybe 4 on 12. And, but the cost goes up tremendously. The next hidden cost in a metal building is the doors and the windows. Our buildings obviously come with doors and windows, but the doors and windows aren't included in the cost of the metal building many times. And so that's another hidden cost. And then the last hidden cost of a metal building is you have to get somebody to install it. Let's see, I've got let's see, where am I looking for? Wait. Okay, so somebody comes in and they install these big columns, they install the purlins, they install the rolled insulation, they install the sheeting. And it's very similar to our building because our building also, you know, we have columns. Our columns go down into the ground instead of being connected to the bolts. We have purlins, we have insulation, and we have our components. So it's a very similar product, really, and it's just that our costs are all right there. When you start talking metal building, you have to count the cost. And another hidden cost of that metal building is a lot of times you have to get a general contractor to coordinate all this. You have to have a general contractor that's going to oversee the concrete work, that's going to oversee the erection of the building, putting it up. And by the time you do that, they're going to charge their 20% overhead. And so there's just cost after cost after cost. So, and as I have said about other projects, you know, this is me. This is AI generated. Someone had the nerve to say, Darrell, is that really you dancing? I mean, you really think, I mean, you guys know me by now. You think that's me. No, it's not me. But our building accomplishes all the things that the metal building would furnish, as I've said, because if we do a 16-foot eave height, even a 14-foot eave height, but especially 16-foot eave height, it's plenty big enough to store your fire truck, if you have a fire truck, or your 18-wheeler, if you have an 18-wheeler, and or a giraffe, if you have a giraffe. And so these are big buildings that have, just like metal buildings, that have big spaces. So, bottom line is, believe it or not, here at Mallett Building, we like post frame buildings. We don't like metal buildings, but I mean, it's nothing personal. It's just that's what we do here, and we do it very well. And so, I hope you'll consider purchasing a post frame mallet building, not a metal building. So, well, y'all have a good week. See you next week.